here we go. So where are you at? Where are you at? What's burning? And we'll just go there. Yeah. Bree, go first. You got here. Who will go in order of arrival? Yes.
Okay. So hi, I'm Bree. I did I think it was 1.0. So I'm still a little bit of a baby when it comes to coaching. But I did 1.0 probably a couple years ago. I am calling in from Maryland. And since then I've been off and on with my business. So when I saw this, I'm really hitting it hard in terms of social media right now. That's like my big thing. But everything around that business wise is something that I still need to be in the coaching world and utilize opportunities like this so I can keep things moving and have that momentum and motivation, as you
Okay.
stated earlier. But yeah, so I'm from Maryland. So hi.
And where specifically in Maryland?
So I am, well, Maryland's tiny, John. So I'm really like an hour from DC and an hour from Baltimore, but I'm in a little area called Frederick, Maryland.
Right.
So I'm in the mountains. I'm at like the foot of the mountains. Like, let's emphasize, I lived in Oregon, so I know that the mountains here are not the
Well, I grew
same.
up in
But
Pittsburgh, so
okay, so the hills then, you get it.
Rolling
Um,
Hills.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Very
So
important.
that's where I'm in. It's a beautiful little town and I'm very grateful to be here. But yeah, I'm very close to everything, so that's good too.
That's cool. Janice, I think you're up.
Hello, I'm Janice. I'm in the middle of my 1.0 classes, um, in the process of signing up for 2.0,
Okay.
and also in the process of building my own business, which last time, John, you were really great in giving me some homework. So that's been awesome. I'm calling in from Southern California, near about like 10 minutes away from Laguna Beach.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is still like all news flashy kind of thing. But the I might be co-leading the next upcoming 2.0.
I
Uh,
heard.
how did you hear this? Who did you hear this
Um,
from?
Ariel,
When?
today.
Okay, I was like, how, how did this even know? Like, what? Yeah, 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 yeah. So I think we're gonna push the one. I can't start it this soon. I got to get my stuff in order a little bit better. But yeah, I think we're leading it. I'm bringing it. I am bringing it, the 2.0. I haven't taught in a while. Uh, I'm pretty psyched up about it. So are you going to be in it? You're going to do it?
hmm
Good, good. Yeah, I think there are only 6 people in there now.
I had some questions about how to sign up. There were some prompts that were popping up that I didn't know what it
Gosh,
meant.
I'm allergic to those questions right
I
now.
know, I know. I'm not asking you. I've already asked
Oh,
Ariel again. So
goodness, goodness, goodness. You know, I did not realize when I started this thing how much I'd have to dive into all these places. Um, I think, yeah, I sometimes question taking on developing an app in the middle of all of this. It really was too much. But anyway, Janice, we'll get there. We'll look at your business stuff today, and then we'll get you signed up. You can just like literally just send a text message, and we'll sign you up. Like, yeah, or carrier pigeon, or send a telegram or something. Whatever. We'll figure out some sort of technology that works. Gosh, Eric, save us. Eric's in technology.
My pleasure. My pleasure. That's what I'm here
There you
for.
go.
So hi, I'm Eric. I'm also on the tail end of my 1.0. I only have like a month and some change left.
Hmm.
Also looking to sign up for the 2.0 as well. So I guess I might be in that one with you, John. That'd be interesting. Um, I'm in South Cali as well. I'm in a little bit north of the San Diego area. Um, I've been really enjoying my coaching journey thus far. I have a workshop, my first like workshop where I just invited a bunch of friends on this coming Saturday.
You did one like 2 days ago, or it's coming up like in a
It's
couple of days?
coming up one.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to do the future self, simple and clean, and then go from there if I can get enough feedback to be like, okay, hey, public places, let me host me, please. Kind of do that vibe. Um, Outside
Ah,
of that, I think business wise, the biggest questions that I had, number one was the business success metrics, which was recommended a good question to ask because of my girlfriend's brother, who is a entrepreneur and business guy. So he's like, that'd be good to know. I think other than that, just elements of a good website. I've been trying to revamp mine a bit, and then this is whatever. But the last thing was just like milestones, or what counts as like what are valid like milestones to strive for.
Mhm.
That's all for me.
All
Hi
right, all
guys.
right. Thanks, Eric. We'll get there. Carolyn, you chatted in something, I think.
I'm sorry, I kind of just popped in really not knowing. I start my 2.0 on next Thursday, next week. So I'm just kind of getting to know coach training. I'm so sorry I was late. I was with a client and she kind of had a breakthrough. So I was a little bit late getting off with my client. I'm also, Eric, in the San Diego area. I'm by Escondido, that area. Yeah, so I'm just here trying to learn. I'm excited to meet everybody and to learn more about about what I'm going to be doing in a next week. Starting
Sweet.
to study for
Well, I will be one of your co-leaders then, Carolyn, in this space. Yeah. Yeah, but we're still gonna meet we're still gonna meet June 6th, but I need a couple more weeks to rearrange my schedule to get. So we're gonna meet June 6th, but we're gonna start, I think, June 20. So we're gonna push it back 2 weeks.
Okay, so we are meeting on the 6th.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Well, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it. And
Mhm.
I was able to hop onto one of the power hours.
Oh, with
And so
Ashley?
I did, yeah. Well, she wasn't there. It was Ariel was filling in for her that day. But yeah, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed meeting the two people who were also there. So hi guys, glad to meet you.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right, all right. So, where I'm kind of intrigued, Eric, with your like website idea. Like what are good elements of a coaching website? I think that might be the best place to go. Do you have one? Do you have one crafted, or
I
Bree, do you
do.
have a website crafted? Like I'm happy. I mean, if they're only like Antonio also joined us just now. Hello, Antonio. When he gets in here, we'll see. I mean, if there's only going to be 6 of us, we have time to look at everyone's website. So, and believe me, I'm in my own website development land as well. It's a lot. The first blink is I already love it. So, isn't that nice? Yeah.
That's high
Blinks.
praise. Thank you, John.
What's up?
That's high praise. Thank you.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean? Like you get a sense of it. You get a blink and you're like, yay, you know what I mean? Like it's just it's sweet. One things I like, here, let me get my website. Let me get my annotator going too. Okay, so thing one is it has here, hold on. The Zoom, I gotta move the Zoom bubbles around so I'm not constantly fighting with website real estate space. All right. Okay, thing one. Yay! I love call to action. Pretty easy there. Imagine where we looking at 3 pages then, 3-page website. That's nice
Yeah,
too.
it's one of those. It's a website that's like anchor links, so it's all on the same page. It just takes you to different parts of the page.
Yep, yep. And then you have learn more here. I'm gonna click it because that's fun. Does it just drop me down? There we go. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. That's nice. Good photo too. Imagine this FAQ section. Are you working with a a search engine optimist or a search engine person?
I'm reaching that point. I just learned about it on Friday, the exact questions, and I'm going through them now to revamp.
Oh, so an SEO person told you the questions to look at instead of these?
Yeah, yeah. I have it's not like a professional SEO, but it's someone who has dealt with this a lot. So kind of going through that.
All right, this is pretty strong too. I like this part. It's a fun photo. Yeah, this works. There's something wonky going on right here with the formatting a little bit, but photos overdoing like a little bit. Okay. Bullet points here. This is too much text in one spot. Okay. All right. Ready, Eric? I think this is an excellent start. I feel like there is a little bit more to go, but you're really close. Right. Okay. So I absolutely 100% love this part, calling all entrepreneurs. I think this part here needs to be even more emphasized. Yeah, even more here in the sense of this part here needs to be this needs to be its own row. Yeah, not a column in a row for sure. And I also think you need to talk to the specific pain points that entrepreneurs face. We have a bunch of us entrepreneurs here on this call, so we're gonna do it right now. Everyone, what is your thinking of an emotion word like frustration, anxiety, fear, pain, any of those words, right? What is your biggest struggle? What's the biggest pain point that you feel that and let's chat it, let's put that in chat. Um let's take a moment. What's for the sake of Eric's health, like what or yeah, what's the biggest thing that you feel, maybe like a sentence or two, biggest challenge
About starting our businesses?
about starting your business? Yeah, for me it's about balance. Like how do you like I when I first started out, it was like I don't even know what I need to do. Is everyone else still, are you still in that spot? Like I don't even know what I need to do spot. uh I don't even know what to call that, but I feel like that's a very clear space. I remember sitting at my desk, and I didn't not even know, like feeling like, oh, I have 2 hours. And this was because I was teaching high school at the time. And so I had these little, we'll call them 10 weeks of like entrepreneurial camp where I had 10 full weeks where I could just do whatever I wanted to, knowing that school was going to start. But, in the first summer, I just blew it. The second summer, I also blew it. It took me like 3 or 4 summers to understand how to use time effectively and what I really needed to do. This first element, finding the pain points of your target audience, is gold. So if you don't have your pain points of your target audience down, that is the absolute first step that you need to do. I think I say this in every business builder or business mastermind. Um, and I want to say it here again because this website is almost there, but it needs to be even closer. So if we're going to look at these, what would it be? Being perceived. Ooh, what does that mean? That is enigmatic. Say more about that.
I don't know if we have enough time for John for that one. Um, short answer is I am really big on my social media right now. So I have never had like a public social media page. And now I'm kind of in this weird corner of the internet where I come from a social media background. I've done social media for other businesses, and now it's me, and it's not something in front of me that I can just push out. Like it's me, it's my face, it's me, I'm out there. And that is really vulnerable. especially for someone who doesn't quite enjoy that. I mean, I'm an open person. I'm a people person for sure. But having that live and the attention that it could potentially get and the attention that I need it to get in order to like get my network growing, I think is kind of crazy because I'm doing weird stuff,
So,
following
so
trend.
yeah. This reminds me a lot. Like I was working with Britt, who works with writers, right? And she
Mhm.
talks a lot about writers when especially when they're trying to write a novel or do something, especially their first one or two, they feel like they need to put all of their worth and value, like who they are, into like pour who they are, have that represented in the work that they do, or the quality of the work that they do.
Mhm.
Is that in the neighborhood?
Um, I don't I don't think so because
How would you? Yeah, go
I
for it.
mean, I know who I am. Like I know who I am and I know that I'm of value. I mean, sometimes I don't. But I think for life coaching specifically, I think when people think of a life coach, they think of a certain type of avatar. And I think what I'm battling up against is being truly authentic myself, knowing that this is my North Star and knowing that I want to continue and move forward while also being authentically myself and knowing that that's gonna, you know, pay off because I know that there are people for me. I just have to find those people. So now I'm just in the matter of finding those types of people. But I don't think my niche is like entrepreneurs or anything like that. I think my niche is slowly starting to form, but I don't have it just yet. So,
Right.
I mean, I commend Eric for being so solid about who he's going after because that's really amazing. I'm still working on mine. So that was a lot. I talk too much.
No, it's good, good. I, Eric, what are you hearing from this? If you were to identify the pain point, like if this were an ideal client profiling, what would you be hearing?
Well, it's actually kind of funny. I have like interviewed around 3 to 4 different entrepreneurs. And I do have like the pain points that they all mentioned,
Yeah. Start there
and
because
none
I
of
have
them.
ideas too on what Bree just said. Because I think there's an idea like around there is something on authenticity. Like how can you be your authentic self? How does that authentic self show up? I would posit though that you're not really selling yourself or your authenticity as much as you're selling a larger movement. And I view at my best, I am an instrument of that larger movement that's happening. Does that make sense? And so I'm hearing Bree talk about it. I'm like, oh, so your target audience, it's a lot about, well, what kind of change do you want to create in the world? And then how can coaching help those people who are also after that change? It's almost like I was giving a presentation, and Marshall Goldsmith, an executive coach who was in this, he was also there too. He was the headliner, and I was like a little, a sideshow. And Marshall was talking, and he was sitting around, or maybe a dozen of us, and it's like, we're in a hotel, it's kind of late. And he's just riffing, like he is just hard riffing. And he's going around the room. Everyone gets like 5, 10 minutes, and he's basically demolishing them. He gets to me and like within like 10, like even before I open my mouth, he says, just before you even start, I just want you to know you have to get over yourself and know it's not about you. Like even before I open my mouth, I'm like, thanks, Marshall. Like this is how this is going to go down. You know what I mean? And it was good. I mean, we got someplace. It was amazing. And I felt renewed. And um it really struck me though. I mean, this is like the leadership program, all the things. It's not about you. It's not about any of us. It's about the larger mission and vision of what we're trying to create in this world. And when you really step in that and ask yourself, well, Bree, what change do you want to see in the world, and how can coaching be an instrument of that change? That's how you find your target audience. And then the question is, well, how do your authentic self go? Well, authenticity comes from the Latin word auctor, which really just means author. So if you're the author of your life, what story do you want to write? That's authenticity. It's a wild idea. So Eric, what are the pain points?
The pain points that I've gathered from like just my own research were like frustration over a lack of time, the struggle with stability and then burnout were the three biggest pain points, which is interesting because I don't think any of those came up when I for you guys.
Nope,
Which is-
no one here. We're all coach
Yeah,
trained.
very, very
We're all,
interesting.
that is not, Bree's like, no, I'm out of it. Like, no, it's not even close.
Yeah.
What was number two again? Burnout? No, it doesn't, you don't get that. That doesn't work when you're coaching people. What's the next one?
The second one was stability.
Yeah, I can see that one. That one I think resonates.
That was the biggest one, was stability. Yeah.
So what brings stability?
What I gathered from them was the stability was pretty much that feeling of being able to take a break and not everything crashing down. Having a stable income, having a just the ability to take a breather was
There we
was
go.
what stability was.
Who resonates with that? Raise your hand. Yes. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah, that's the winner. Okay. So that's your row.
Got it. Sounds
That's
good.
a row.
Sounds good.
That's
Yeah,
a
no, that was
whole
super
row.
helpful. I'll do that. Thank you, John.
Yeah. What's number two? What was the first one again?
First one was lack of time. Like there's never enough time to do things.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely feels cliche though, too, in a way. Yeah, Bree.
No, but that's what I was hearing.
Eric, I have a question for you.
Please, by all means.
When you started this, did you know you wanted to go after entrepreneurs?
Nope, not at all. Not in the slightest. I was like, why can't I just be a general coach kind of vibe?
Yeah.
But I think for me, what ended up doing it was, I think I listened to one of John's old workshops and he mentions, or like there's an exercise where you do like 3 circles. And the first circle is like the most general people you want to work with, and then you narrow down with extra criteria and stuff like that. And I think that really helped me. Obviously, there's other people outside of entrepreneurs I want to help, but I think for the purposes of a niche, these are the people that I know that I can help. I understand their struggles a little bit more, and I think like it just satisfies all my conditions of like being a coach and helping people. That's kind of what I came to.
Yeah, I think it works. Okay, last thing, other last thing I feel on this, and we can go to someone else, is you have to sell the thing within the paradigm. You have to sell it within their paradigm. So like if you're thinking of it from the standpoint of, okay, put yourself in the shoes of an entrepreneur, what's the mindset of an entrepreneur? Like what are entrepreneurs constantly thinking about? For myself, other entrepreneurs, it's like, okay, so is this worth it? Like, is this like, it's not like, I think if you're a W-2, the question more is like, okay, so how can I conserve and save resources? Because resources are, you have a finite income. You know what your income is going to be every month or every other week, right? But as an entrepreneur, you have a variable income, and that variability of income, it's sometimes you have to spend money to make money. So it's a different idea, but it's always like, if I spend time, energy, and money on this, am I going to get the return back or not? And I feel like that's the other thing that I don't see on this website is invest in yourself, sure, but nah, man, I don't. It's more like this coaching will make you more money.
Yeah, I think I realized that yesterday. Like 1 hour can save you 100 hours of stress, or like
Mhm.
can save.
1 hour of coaching saves 20 or more hours of, 20 stress hours. Yeah, which is true. Because I mean, it's processing speed, right? Like you coach, you get coached. I mean, you probably in that 30 minutes, 45 minutes of coaching are probably saving around 20 hours of processing. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. All right. Who's next? Bree, you want to go for your target audience? And then Antonio, I'd love to hear your story too. Like what are you interested in? Where you're at with coaching? And then we'll go to you, Bree, with your target audience.
Hi, everybody. I'm Antonio. I'm actually a teacher, instructor also. I coach sports, but I never coach anything else. I'm interested in coaching, but academically for students and help the students, guide them students where they can see themselves.
Oh, sweet. Sweet.
Yeah.
So you got here probably because you talked to Brittany or Ashley and they're like, hey, come to one of the business teachers, or are you currently in an academic 1.0?
No, I haven't met to anyone. This is my first meeting that
Oh, well, welcome. Wow, you got
yeah,
the link. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw they was on and so I'm gonna jump on and jump in here and see what is happening.
All right. Well, welcome to the very
Thank you.
our business, one of our business masterminds. Sweet. Glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
We're gonna keep rolling. Any other questions? Let me know.
No problem.
All right. Great. Specialty. What are you thinking?
I feel like I've hogged so much time. I haven't even heard from Janice and
Keep
Carolyn.
going. Everyone's getting value from this. Don't worry. I got Janice and
Um,
Carolyn and
my
yes.
okay. So you talking about my niche? Is that what you meant?
Mhm.
Okay. I really want to help with building self-worth. Like at the end of the day, self-worth. I know what it feels like to be in like the pit of despair about who you are inside. And I don't want anyone to ever feel that way, ever. And if I can help with that, then so I've toyed with confidence coach, which I don't love. I've toyed with self-worth, value. These are all the things that I'm just by doing like my social media profile that I'm kind of like finding myself gravitating towards. But the why is so strong and so loud when it comes to that type of stuff. I actually emailed Hannah and I was like, Hannah, is this even a thing? Like, is this a thing that people who are coaches do? Because I've never really felt that. And I don't even know what one would call that. But I think the closest thing is self-worth, probably.
Are you thinking a particular age group or demographic?
Gut feel, yes.
Mhm.
Women, I keep focusing on women. I don't want to be that like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to be like that specific, but I'm just finding it naturally like gravitating towards me and how I'm feeling. And then also, which is not about me, which I understand, but
Well, I mean, the way I view it is like we are instruments of this larger
right.
idea, right? So it's like it is about you in as much as you need to be a certain kind of leader and have a certain kind of being in order for the larger mission to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it's twisted on its head, you know, because I think our current education system tells us, oh, like you're going to be like a rugged individual, get these certain grades, get this certain degree, go out and do this certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at it is what coaching does is it really truly shifts from an empowerment basis. And if you're empathetically motivated, you're doing it for the sake of larger purpose. You need to be awesome for the sake of your larger purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, that's as far as I've gotten. And yeah.
I mean, you even talk about that. I'm like, oh, like I have, you know, 2 teenage daughters in my life. I'm like, yep, self-worth, because they are bombarded with media.
Yeah.
It's a brutal, I mean, I mean, they have
Yeah.
2 life coaching parents, fortunately. And even, I mean, it's still a struggle.
Yeah. I'm thinking about like when I was thinking about this, I think all women can benefit from this, but maybe younger than me. I'm gonna be 37, so I'm kind of in a weird spot where I identify with older women, but I also understand like the 30, like the early 30s, the late 20s, that kind of thing. And I know age is such a spectrum, so there's not really like a particular, path, but I spent a lot of that time not loving myself, and I don't want anyone to ever go through that. So that's like my purpose. is just being an instrument for empowerment, I think.
That's cool. The only what was really hitting me really strong is that's amazing that might not be that might not be what you lead with, and it might be something that that is, you definitely have. And this is not coaching, just so we're aware, Antonio. This is more like mentoring. This is consulting. This is not like me asking empowered questions. But
Right.
my gut sense is I think you need to have a very specific target age,
Okay.
mostly for marketing purposes. But know that it's marketing purposes. It's not like authentic purpose, or it's not like it's just because people will need to understand who you are and who you work with. You can
That
pick an
makes
age. I
sense.
work with women who are 30 to be their most empowered selves. And then everyone else who's not will say, I want to work with you but please, I don't fit that, but can you work with me?
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you.
All right, Janice.
Hello. So last session, we had a couple things come up, and it was empowering multicultural professionals to find their authentic voice. I am in the process. I have 6 out of 9 interviews.
Okay.
I have
You've done 6 out of 9. You've done 6
Yes.
interviews.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Are you kidding? Yes.
Yes, since our
Oh,
last conversation. Come on now.
yes.
So
What'd you get? What'd you learn?
I'm learning that a lot of their pain points is around kind of feeling shame and hiding in certain places, not being able to speak up in meetings, just because of their cultural voices that are kind of speaking to them. Decision paralysis, feeling misunderstood, exhausted with low energy levels because they're constantly having to shift masks and shift faces, and just sleep deprivation because things are spinning and keeping them up at night.
What was it like doing these interviews?
It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And they were more than excited to share their story, of how things were impacting them and what were the factors that have impacted them and the different lenses that they have to look through. There's one person in particular that is American, but they're Japanese and a Colombian. And so in meetings, their Japanese side holds them back so they don't ever speak on top of somebody else because it's considered rude and you have to kind of hold space. But their American side is saying like, wait, I need to get my point across. And the Colombian side is just all over, So it's just kind of fun to see how all of these parts are playing into it. And I don't know if this is the right thing to do or not, John. Please give me some guidance with this. But I didn't want to limit multicultural to like culture to just heritage background. I wanted to kind of open it up to the different parts that they identify with. So it could even be, whether you had, your sexuality or your military background, or what are the things, or your religion, if that's very forward facing for you, right? So there's all these different factors that I feel like that affect them in these professional spaces. And I wanted to play around with that.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay,
Yeah, your
that's not too
instinct's right on.
broad.
Yeah, no, your instinct's right on. So what tends to happen whenever so in establishing a coaching business and practice, we'll call it like a topical target audience. So your topical target audience might be multicultural women in workspaces, right? Like that's the topic. The universal like topic that you then approach is anyone who has to balance like multiple identities,
Ah,
right? And so when I was working with, because I work mostly with students, like 95% of my 95% of the people I work with students, 5% executives. Uh, what I got really good at was motivation, like, understanding, working with high school, college kids, like motivation styles, dealing with grades, dealing with all the stress and pressures of how to deal with parents and grades, like, all those kinds of things. What I realized really quickly is executives are in the same boat. They're all dealing with motivation too, just in different ways. So I became an expert in motivation, but my topic audience was basically high school students.
that's helpful.
Yeah, Yeah, so I would stick until your business is rolling and established. I would stick as close as you can to your topic audience, knowing that you are also developing a universal expertise that you can then like give a TED talk on, using using your target topic audience. Oh yeah, Janice, you're on the path. You're so like those interviews have moved you a year down the path that most coaches don't even get to because they just guess and they create websites that are kind of fluffy and guessy and done. Like,
Okay,
you know what
so
I mean?
I
Yeah.
did not want to create a fluffy website and I
Mhm.
don't want to invest that much money into it. So one of the things that I was wondering is, have you heard of like Paperbell or Simply Coach? You know, the all-in-one stop kind of
Yeah,
client
yeah.
management system where you can also tack on a service on the back
Mhm.
where they
Mhm.
offer websites or a landing page of some sort. I'm thinking about going that route just because it's more affordable. Have you heard of those, John?
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas on this.
Okay,
Um,
talk to me.
I do. Because we've been developing our own coach client matching app, Coach Theory,
Mhm.
and I've learned a lot about this. Ah, you know, I think, and I'm also talked to my dev. His name's Henry. He floated the idea to me of like, hey, I have all these coaches going through. He could easily put together a 5-page WordPress website for like 1,000, 1,500, and have it be SEO'd and like totally done kind of for people. Um, I don't know if there's a market for that or not, but it would be interesting to get coaches who are interested in websites talking to Henry.
You need a guinea pig?
Right. I know, right? I know. Like Henry, and he's so smart and good, and like, oh my goodness, $1,000 for a website. Henry, are you kidding? You're a magician. But I don't think the dev of the website is as important as the word copy for the website first.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't even think about like putting together a website until you had, let's say, 5 or 6 pages on a Google Doc of this is what, or like a mock-up even of this is what I want my website to look like.
Okay.
Because you're going to have to do that anyway. And
Mhm.
that's way harder. And I think a lot of people procrastinate by looking at all of the little, like the systems of, oh, I could use this one or that one or this one. And I don't think that you would be like ultimately, if it were me and like what I'm doing, I just would use WordPress and get a pretty solid template, WordPress it out. You're going to be much happier in the long run and not tied into a system. Because I think a lot of these systems are tied to be sticky. And once you're in a system, it's hard to get out of one. I don't know. That's just me. I would stick with WordPress all the way. Eric, what did you WordPress it? Is this a WordPress site or Wix or something? Or what you probably have
Well, that's Squarespace, but yeah, well, it's the same idea.
which one did you use?
That's Squarespace.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the same idea as like WordPress or Wix.
Yeah, Janice. All right, we'll talk. I'll get you, look at Henry. We'll get Henry in there. You can't have him though until mid-June, so you gotta wait a couple more weeks.
I won't have anything ready until then anyways.
We are in the middle of a massive website overhaul. I've worked with so many marketers in the last 4 or 5 years, hired so many independent contractors, mostly on Upwork, for my because I realized, I mean, I basically taught high school and then became a coach and then started a coach training company. So I've worked in 0 organizations. So I've had to learn the hard way about all this marketing stuff. Simple is always better. Well, not always, but most of the time, simple is better. And
Do you have any suggestions of who to work with for like logo design and branding?
okay, yes, I do. Um, I have found the most luck on Upwork, upwork.com.
Work?
Mhm. I put something out there and I get maybe 7 people at minimum, usually around, depends on what I put out there. Um, Anywhere from 7 to 70 people. And then it's an hourly basis and you hire them and that's what I found is the absolute best.
Okay. And did you use a client management system at all?
I don't think you need one until you have over 25 clients. I don't think that it's worth, I don't think in coach theory, I've looked at other coaching apps. There are maybe 50 coaching apps that you can, get your have a profile. Clients can pay on there, they can schedule on there, they can do all the things on there. I don't know. I don't think it's that vibrant. I don't think it's that important yet. I think until you get to maybe like 20 clients, it's again, I think it's a way to procrastinate.
And then can I ask?
Doing,
Oh, sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
doing your client profiles, that's the most important work. Seriously amazing, yes.
And then one other question that I have is in terms of pricing for services. How do
Mhm.
you go about developing that?
I would start somewhere between 50 to 100 a coaching session. And then if people say that's too much, then you can ask them, well, what can you afford? But I think pricing yourself between 50 and 100 to start is a pretty good starting space. Once you get a feel for it, then you can set whatever price you want. But I started at 100 and sold it in 10 session packages. And this is back in 2005.
Hmm, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking even like, you know, Moise, who is a small brown woman, like who, like the things you're talking about, like the pain points,
Mhm.
she feels like, and it's true, she has to work in her communication with people like 1.5 times harder. It's ridiculous. Like the level of communication that's expected of her versus other people in this community is insane. And so if you talk to a Moise and like, she says, hey, like this is how much I want to like pay for a session, dude, we would just pay it. Like we wouldn't even think about it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I feel like you have a target audience who they you talk to these pain points, like they will not even think about it. They'll just be like, yes, like she needs to process this stuff. And if I weren't also a coach, like it's just, I don't even know how we would do it. Like it's the need is so huge, like what you're up to, the social things that you are trying to shift. Yeah,
Okay, thank
you'll
you.
find it so soon. I'm not even, God, I have like 5 women I could like refer to you right now.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm game.
Oh, they're fired up too. Like, cause they get empowered. These
Yeah.
are women who have like really high, they can have really high powered jobs and positions. They deal with significant BS on a regular basis. And they're like, look, like my success matters more, just like it's just more than just me here. Like my success is moving the whole ball forward for whole groups of people. Like, yeah, like yeah, Janice, I'd start at least in 100 range.
Okay.
100 per session. I would do packages of 5 or 10. I would do a sample training or a sample coaching session, make it mandatory, charge $50 for it, give them an hour. I probably would do future self, wheel of life, core motivation in that hour. And I would identify the myths of coaching, some of which, yeah, in that hour. And I would just, as a scientist, test it out on the people that you did the interviews with and have them give you feedback, what they liked, didn't like, would they sign up with you, why not, that kind of thing.
Sounds good.
I'm glad that was all recorded too. That's literally what I did. Is once I developed the sample session, I just rinsed and repeated. Um, yeah. Okay.
That was helpful. Thank you.
All right. We'll have to get branding next time. Like come another one, I'll talk branding on this one. The bottom line on branding is I wouldn't focus on the branding. The branding is a natural byproduct of you doing your larger mission and vision. The branding comes naturally. Yeah. I spent too much time trying to think of what my brand was, and it was silliness. It's yeah. I don't really. At a certain point in time, you are who you are, and you do the work that you do, and the brand just speaks. It doesn't. The story tells itself. All right, Carolyn, where are you at? What are you thinking?
Wow, where I'm at, like behind zero. Okay, so I'm coming at this backwards to
Yes.
everybody.
Yep.
I, yeah, as is so often the case. So I started coaching probably in 2016 because I was just in a community of people who were caregivers to dementia patients. And just being in that community, I ended up being a coach to a lot of different people. And then serendipitously, my niece introduced me to a company that was, hires coaches. I was hired, and so I started coaching. And so far I've had since 2020, I've had people as young as 22, old as 67, and I'm 72, so everyone's younger. But mostly dealing with nutrition is my background, but because I've been a caregiver to my mother and my father and my husband until he died, I've been doing a lot of caregiving. And so that's kind of those are my people. And then, of course, after my husband died, now I'm in the widowed community. And the same thing started happening. I just started having people, I'd be in a grief group, and pretty soon I'd start getting calls. And so this is all informal, not, I wasn't being paid, but a lot of volunteer coaching. So primarily I work with people now, nutrition, coaching people through caregiving, and now grief. So as I said, I'm backwards on this. I start taking my course next week on 2.0, and I'm just getting a feel of what could be possible. I didn't expect to love this much. I mean, it's just something that I think I've done all my life. And when I find myself, oh my goodness, I'm actually doing this, and I have clients and I'm getting to know them and I'm getting to care about them, and I'm watching their journey. And I'm like today, I mean, it's just like just an amazing breakthrough. So I'm hooked, guys. But it's more, I need to earn a living. I am a widow. Things are not expected them to be. But I feel like this is a calling now. So I'm starting way back here in some ways, and I'm up here some ways. So I need to kind of center, refine my skills. You can always learn. There's a lot, I learn every moment of every day. This has been an incredible journey. I'm so excited to learn more, and learning how to do this website and marketing, that will be down the road, but I want to start now and start thinking about this. So as I'm learning in this next 6 months, 8, 9 months, whatever it is, I'm going to be thinking about this along the way.
Totally. 100%.
So
A couple things. Do you have a website, or do you have like a page or
no,
something?
I do not have a website. I do not have a page. My clients are either volunteer clients, or I'm working for a company where, I'm paid for the clients I see in the company. So I have not had to do any advertising because I'm working for a company. I would like to have the autonomy to
Right.
work for myself,
Yeah.
because
All right.
most of my life I've worked for myself.
Yeah, I'm thinking like simple, 3-page website is, that's all you really need or really want. It doesn't need to be more than that. From my understanding of websites is it's not like you're going to be found and someone's going to become a client because they look at your website. When I was coaching, my website was more like it was like a test. It was like a legitimacy test where I would go and give a workshop, do something, and then I'd say, "Oh, here's my website," and then the parents would go and check out my website and say, "Oh, do I like this? Does it make sense?" Like, so it's more as like a secondary check as opposed to something that people are going to find and then um, get interested in what you do and then contact you, right? So that takes some pressure off of the website just from the beginning. And you sound like you're already in these communities. They're not looking for, Like you're not going to use your website to initiate the conversation. The website's going to close them into becoming your client,
More likely,
right?
yes.
So, but you probably need something. And you probably need something that can also showcase your story and who you work with, because it's a powerful one. And yeah, I'm already thinking of like two people. Like, yep, I have two people in mind who I think would be right, because the caregiving community, it's a tight community.
It's a tight community, and it's a community that is really suffering. I mean, I'm working with groups also to change, get the laws changed. You know, there's just so much involved. But people who are caregivers they're a really beaten down group of people with all kinds of issues surrounding the caregiving. It's a pretty deep subject.
Yeah, and it's one that it's relatively easy to find where caregivers congregate. It's relatively easy to identify pain points. You could very easily set up the same kind of interviews that Janice did with them, and you like it would literally save years of flailing in terms of marketing messaging. I cannot recommend enough the ideal client profiling. Talking to the actual like I think was it two business masterminds ago, I went it pretty hard into the ideal client profile. That'd be the place to go. Carolyn that'd be the first place to look at is the ideal client profile. Yep.
Hey, thank you so much. That's
Yeah.
really helpful. And I
Yeah.
mean, I know as soon as I get started on this journey, I've been reading the book, I'm, listening to your podcasts and, trying to soak up as much as I can, just so I'm ready just to learn. But I think that once I start on that journey, it'll define itself pretty quickly.
Totally.
Yeah.
And in the 2.0, you're going to coach and be coached, and the 2.0
Yes.
tends to attract coaches who are very serious about setting up a business. And and the quality of the coaching is going to be pretty high. And I would use the 2.0 as a structure for you to have a weekly accountability to take significant action steps on your business. And I would totally start now. Like I would start with asking the people who you want to coach, like what are the pain points, and then what are the specific things that would nudge them to hire a coach.
Okay.
That's the key question. And like what Janice did, what'd she say? 6 of 9 interviews. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Like that's
Really?
a
Yeah.
gold star. Yeah.
Well, and I obviously have a lot of people, and so it's kind of between the grief, that's equally as interesting to me as the caregiving, but one turns into the other, and especially when dealing with dementia, it's that sentence. So,
Best practice is
you,
starting with one. Start with one.
mhm. And
Knowing
that's
that
where I
it's,
really need to
yeah,
delve
knowing that
down.
it's really going to quickly, morph to more. But the hard part is starting with just one, focusing on that. You're looking at a 3-page website and or 3-section website in Eric's case, like same ideas.
Okay. Great.
I'm going to
Well,
run
this is
another. Yeah, go for it, Ken.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm going to run another mastermind. So this is every I think I don't know what the schedule is. We haven't got like a regular one yet, but we will soon. But please come to all of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like use this time too, as well as a business. I'm happy to look at your websites. Anything you got.
Okay. Thank you, John. And is it okay? I know I came on a little late today because I was,
Yeah,
okay. Thank you.
I came late too. I was 2 minutes late too. I finished up an interview with a researcher from
Okay.
professor from UC Berkeley. I'm all fired up. Like I'm like seriously, like this is a larger movement, and it's I mean I say it and I like felt it when I was in my mid-20s. Now I realize, no, it's real. Like this is legacy work. This is changing humanity work. This is like, this work needs to happen. This work will happen. It's just a matter of how quickly it's going to happen. But this world needs more empathetic people. And part of me is getting annoyed at the pace of some of these people. Like, like, come on, society. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is not okay. People are getting sad. Like, this work really matters, and we have to go. If you know it, you have to go do it.
I really appreciate hearing that. I'm having the same feelings. I am impatient. I'm 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 angry that things are going backwards, that
Yeah.
we are devaluing people when we should be elevating them. And it starts with children. And so thank you. I feel like I'm in the right place with people who care deeply about things I care about, which is like I'm ecstatic. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gets really real really quick. I can't wait. Oh, you're in the classes, you're gonna get coached and be coached. It's gonna be good. All right. I have a beast of a website to tackle myself. I want to go do that.
Hey, John, really quickly,
Yeah.
the ideal client profile, are there resources like on the podcast or somewhere that I can find that? Should I just search it in the website or the message boards?
That's a great question. These business masterminds are still relatively new. I mean, I think I've done
Okay.
maybe 10 of them, and we still haven't got a system yet where these things are automatically downloaded. I mean, they're automatically like, in a certain spot with a
Yeah.
topic and like that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do it.
Eric, you said you did interviews, right?
Yes.
Can I
There is
connect? Can I
there's
connect
actually
with
a form on the website.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, under the Build Your Life self-study, one of the first things is ideal client profile like questionnaire.
Okay, I've got the book literally in front of me, so I'm gonna have to look at that again because I clearly missed it. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. It's on the website. I don't think it's in the hand.
Oh,
I don't know if
okay.
it's in the book. I think I may have added it later,
Okay.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Nice. Okay.
but I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, this thing is always like, I would push things out even before they were completely finished just because like whatever time. And then knowing that I'd always come back to it and make it better and better. I think the 2 masterminds ago, I went pretty hard in the paint on this, talked about the importance of it, what you have to do, not to do.
Mm-hmm.
But really the bottom lines are, you're looking at 30 minutes, asking for 30 minutes. Tell them that you are looking to build your coaching practice and you need to do some market research,
Mm-hmm.
and that they are your ideal client. And you just like to ask them a couple questions. And most of the time people are honored, like what Janice said, they're happy to do it. They're happy to share.
Okay.
The 2 things you're after are, what are their biggest pain points? Because that's what you need to market. And 2, what would nudge them to actually work with a coach?
Cool.
There's
That's
not much
helpful.
more than
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. Unless like an hour of me ranting about those things.
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you, John. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks, bring it.
I'm
Seriously,
bringing
my girls
it.
need it. They need it. What you're up to is no small thing. They are hurting.
Yeah.
They are literally hurting. Like, it's like my daughter's friends, they have no idea the damage that some of the stuff that they're playing with is like happening to them. And they're 14 and they're internalizing this junk. And you're looking at them and like this work is, I mean, if it can get overwhelming so quickly. And it's just like, if you feel called to do it, believe me, there's a whole, like, the support network you will find will rise very quickly.
Thank you.
All right.
Great, y'all.
Thank you all. See you in a week.
Bye.